G'day, mates. G'day, mates. G'day, mates.
G'day mates, I'm Flinty, and this week I'll bring to you 10 facts about Friday the 13th Part 5 that you didn't even know. So grab onto your hats, this one's gonna be a little bit frightening, and let's start to find out some stuff about Friday the 13th Part 5. On to fact 1. Now, one of the actors in the film plays a character called Reggie, who ends up being one of the film's heroes. But did you know, originally the character of Reggie was going to be played by a young Morgan Freeman. Unfortunately, talks between Morgan Freeman and the film's producers fell through when Morgan Freeman kept demanding that he be completely nude from the waist down for all of his scenes, but unfortunately that just didn't suit the film. Fact number 2, that you didn't even know. Now, did you know that Friday the 13th Part 5 is not only one of the Friday the 13th movies, but it actually was going to have its own name separate from that of the Friday the 13th movies of what it is Part 5 of. The movie was originally going to be called The Capulets, all because that was something in the film, but it got changed at the last minute, and now we're left with a film that's always going to be called Friday the 13th Part 5 and not The Capulets. And now on to fact 3. Now we know that Friday the 13th Part 5 is actually a 2D film, unlike Part 3 that was filmed in 3D. But one of the original plans for Friday the 13th Part 5 was for it to be a revolutionary one-dimensional film. It was going to be filmed on 1D cameras to give it that kind of special look that'd be remembered through time. But once again, you never know what's going to happen between the scenes, and plans change. So unfortunately, we're left with Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, being a 2D film. And now on to fact 4, that you didn't even know. Now, did you know that in Friday the 13th Part 1, 2, 3 and all the way up to Part 4, you don't see Jason Voorhees doing his favourite breaststroke or butterfly stroke. You don't see him swim at all in those films. But in Friday the 13th Part 5, all of this changes. That's because in this film, this is where we see Jason have a long swim for the first and only time in all of the storied Friday the 13th movies. So if you haven't seen this film and you really want to see Jason having a dip, why don't you go and watch Part 5? On to fact number 5 about Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Now, the character of Pam in the film is played by a very nice actress, but you might be thinking you don't really recognise her from anywhere else. Now, let me tell you, that could have been different, because there was 2 other actresses that applied for that role, but unfortunately they didn't get the job. Those 2 actresses are Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey, but unfortunately they just didn't get the role. And now we move on to fact number 6 about Friday the 13th Part 5 that you didn't even know. Now, there's a scene in the movie where the guy is going to the loo after he's eaten a damn spicy enchilada and he's being attacked on the toilet by Jason Voorhees from the outside of the toilet unit. Originally, this scene was going to be filmed from inside the toilet, giving an original perspective on the scene, as you see runny shit running from the man's anus down into the toilet pan, mixing with the water, as Jason is banging and thrashing on the walls. But unfortunately, this was deemed too expensive for the film crew, and unfortunately it was filmed from the side like a normal film scene. That's a shame.
7.
Now on to fact number 7 about the movie. Rumours persist that the actor who played Jason Voorhees in this film wouldn't stop leaving his compatches all over the place. He was well known amongst the actors and crew as the ejaculator, as he just couldn't keep himself to himself, leaving messes everywhere. And even when he left a big compatch somewhere on some of the floor, or maybe on some of the furniture, he refused to clean up the mess. That's why he wasn't asked to come back for Friday the 13th Part 6. It's all because of his compatches.
8.
And now, on to Friday the 13th Part 5, fact number 8. Now, as you know, doves are well known as being the birds that symbolise peace. But there's no doves in this film. You're probably wondering why at this stage. Why the heck is there no doves in this film? Well, it's because this film is full of hectic mayhem, and doves, being the birds of peace, unfortunately do not represent hectic nor mayhem. So there's no doves here in this film.
9.
Fact number 9 that you didn't even know. The biggest problem that they had while filming Friday the 13th Part 5 was that they were being besieged by the tiny turtles known as terrapins. The terrapins kept showing up all over the place. They were biting people, nipping their hands, climbing under the doors, getting in people's pockets, ruining the general scenes. Now, if you look carefully in some of the scenes, you might be able to see a terrapin or two somewhere in the shot. To start off with, they were trying to save all of the little turtles, putting them in little pans and sometimes cages. But in the end, they just ended up stamping on them, making a little turtle mess all over the floor. They didn't give a damn about the turtles no more. I could say that this ended up making the film a terror pin.
10.
And finally on to fact 10 that you didn't even know. Another problem that they had during the filming of the film was that sometimes all of the actors would be on set, all of the producers would be where they're supposed to be, but where's the director? He's out in a shack drinking some paint. Unfortunately for everyone, the man who they chose to be director of Friday the 13th Part 5 enjoyed a mouthful of paint every now and then. He didn't give a damn if it was pink paint or yellow paint. If it was paint, it'd be in his damn gob. Sometimes he'd come onto the set with a trickle of paint dripping out of the corner of his mouth. But people knew what he'd been doing. He'd been drinking paint. They just wanted rid of him in the end, but unfortunately he was contracted and so he had to finish. Thanks very much for listening to my very good facts about Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. I'll see you next time, guys. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe button on the way out. You never know what you're going to find out next time. All the best, guys, and don't forget to watch me other Friday the 13th videos and other ones as well, where you can find out some really good facts.